Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toffee Blue. Technical problems myself, so I might be in and out of this stream. But Russ and Paul will be bang on with it. So work with us, people. It will be live on YouTube. It will also be live on Facebook now. That's a new thing, Toffee Bluecast on Facebook. And Instagram, we're looking to go through as well. So your comments, get them in. Get them from all over. Paul, how are we doing? You okay?
Not too bad. Yeah. All good. One or two little bits of news. Not much football. I'm not watching any of that nonsense that they've made up. More likely to watch the women's Euros coming up, to be honest with you. But yeah, nice to be back on here. We missed everyone on Friday, didn't we?
Yeah, we've been waiting for links as well, patiently. Waiting for the links patiently. And finally, we've got a lot of opposition fans that we have, and it's who are we going to get the link from? That's the question. Are we going to get linked to a Manchester City player? Are we going to get linked to a Fulham player? Yes, we have. So Everton have been linked. I'm saying linked at the minute because as an Everton fan, you don't believe the deal's done until it's done, do you, Paul? Like literally, we've had players turn up at the training ground is still not signed. So, but this does seem like a heavy link. Kenny, name right, Russell?
Yeah, Kenny Tete, and he's been with Fulham, I want to say 5 or 6 years now. So he is a high-quality right back. And I'll just start there by just sharing a little bit about Tete, is that he has been just a true professional, just a solid right back. And to the point where this does hurt Fulham that they're losing him. I think that they have tried to have him sign a new contract, and the reports are he keeps rejecting it. And now we're getting the links that he is potentially going to be signing with Everton, which I think would be a very strong move for him as the player and for your side. There are some very good things to talk about in regards to Tete. And I was actually just listening to a really good podcast talking about it. The Green Poll yesterday, another Fulham podcast, and they had on Jack Kelly, who is a journalist who covers Fulham, and he actually really nailed it when it comes to Tete. He's great going forward, great at crossing the ball, and he is a very good one-on-one defender. So he really has the entire package, Paul. The downside is that he's 29, about to turn 30. The other downside is that he is extremely injury prone. So when you're balancing it, the talent's there. What he's going to offer you when he does play is a tremendous amount. He is a leader on the pitch. He's vocal on the pitch. He shows his emotion on the pitch. So Everton supporters will take to him. No question in my mind. And like the best thing I can say about him to tell you what the type of player you're getting is that last summer I was doing many shows about Fulham leading up to the season, and me and my co-host Tony Gold, we were all saying that Timothy Castagne was our choice for starting right back. He was our choice. We're ready to move on from Tete. We want Castagne. Well, Castagne that summer was having international duty. So when he comes back, guess what happens? Tete's there. He takes his job away and keeps it and did such a tremendous job. Unfortunately for him, he got injured. If he doesn't get injured, he might be up for player of the season. And it's interesting to look at because Fulham's trajectory was heading upwards. When he got injured, it started to plateau. I'm not saying it's just Tete's loss because every team deals with injuries. We also dealt with the loss of Reece Nelson. But I think Fulham felt the loss of Tete a decent amount. Timothy Castagne, we learn now, was dealing with an injury, and they had no one else to play. So he was playing all the minutes, and he was not up to his standards. So Fulham's weak point the second half of the season was right back, and part of it was because Tete wasn't there, Paul. He really was an integral part of that team in the first half of the season until he got injured. I'm telling you, I can't say a bad thing about him while he plays. He's a tremendous player. An example that was given on this show I listened to it's a wonderful example. You know how dangerous Matoma is for Brighton Hove Albion. Kenny Tete shut him down in one match, literally shut him down. That speaks volumes because we know how dangerous that player is. And he's a very good defender, but he's also a very good crosser of the ball too. So it just comes down, for me, just injuries.
Yeah. Well, sort of saying that, this is your man who we're looking at. This is Kenny.
Yep.
So proper Scouse name as well, to be fair. This is the injury list that he's had over time.
Yeah.
So, it's a touch unfair, but it gives us an idea about what his history is and if he's had a few injuries, because that's when I've heard him being spoken about, injuries has popped up. So, I mean, Christmas just gone until, well, actually, yeah, like you say, that big gap, it was a knee injury. So it seems to have been quite a substantial one that's kept him out for about 4 months there.
Yep.
Before that, it was the start of, only for a little bit, Achilles tendon injury at the start of the calendar year last year. And then everything else has sort of been random, really. A year sort of between his injury and then his knock that he had a little bit. So nothing out of the ordinary for any sort of standard Premier League player. But obviously that knee injury, it being for 4 months, do you think that's going to be an issue? He did come back.
He did come back,
didn't he? These are the games to the end of the season.
Yep.
That he had. So obviously his knee injury carried on up to the defeat against Arsenal.
Right.
He came on for a little bit when you beat Liverpool, on the bench against Fulham, and then managed to play most of the games to the end of the season and did an all right job, it seemed.
Yes.
Apart
He
from,
did.
The game against us or Villa.
Right.
But he seemed to be back to full fitness then, because he had 3 games where he did finish the full 90.
Well, that's why, Paul, I wouldn't be too concerned about him for next season, because if he was not able to come back, then I would be concerned. But he did bounce back. He did come back. And I don't think it's safe to say that he was the same exact player that we saw at the beginning of the season. But I think obviously the injury was going to take its toll when he did come back to get back to where he was. But I think with a summer of training, I think he'll be the same player that he was for us at the beginning of last season. Again, you're going to be hard pressed for me to tell you too many negatives on his game when he can play. The reason why we liked Castagna a little bit more was just, I think part of it had to do with not being sure if he was going to be available. There would be knocks every once in a while, like you showed. But I think that was a part of our feelings. And also, we just liked the look of what Castagna could bring. That there were different types of fullbacks. And Castagna has a little bit more pace going forward, where Tete's not as quick, but he is a better crosser of the ball. So it's weird because they both offered something a little bit differently. I can argue with you right now that Tete's the better defender. And we have this discussion all the time on Cottage Talk. What's the number one job of a fullback? It's to defend. Whether you like him going forward, you need him to defend. And I can tell you, his defending is top notch.
Yeah. And I mean, the thing, like, Castagna is a decent player as well.
He is.
So, I mean, whenever we're linked to anyone, and we don't always get the chance to do this, but whenever we're linked to someone, I look at what their fans are saying, and a lot of the messages,
what ours have been saying.
Posts, yeah. Well, a lot of the posts were, "Oh no, I woke up to bad news that Tete's linked and everything else." So, is that the general feeling, or have I just picked on the really positive tweets?
No, the general feeling is exactly what you said, and we do the same thing, Paul. When we look at players that Fulham are linked to, we saw how the supporters of that team are treating it. And I can just tell you, I've not seen one negative post about Kenny Tete from Fulham supporters. They're all like, oh no, oh no. But what's interesting with this situation is, like I said, for me, I'm not crazy happy that they're losing him, but I think at some point they needed to find another right back because of his age. You know, he's starting to get up there in age. And then they also have the situation with Castagna. They still have Castagna. But Fulham have been linked to several right backs, one being Bellanova with Atalanta. I saw them linked to another one today. Kyle Walker-Peters is a name that's been linked to Fulham. Kyle Walker for you, by the way. And to be honest with you, if you're asking me, I'd rather have Tete. But that's just me, because I know that he is just a solid defender and someone that's going to do a job for you. And the way that I look at it, when I look at what's going on with Everton, right, I think that's the perfect player to bring in at this time. I know you're going to spend money on other players, but to get a player on a free that's just going to help you, that's a positive move for David Moyes. And and I haven't really had a chance to share my thoughts on Moyes. Can I share my thoughts on Moyes with you, Paul?
Oh, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Okay, so I wanted to say this because you and I and Dan talked about this before a little bit about the potential of David Moyes returning. And I know at times his football might not be the best on the eye, but the track record, especially the first time he was at Everton, that's when I started following Fulham, was when Moyes was at Everton. And Fulham had all kinds of trouble beating Everton the first time with Moyes. And I really had respect for him. And I think it speaks volumes of what a good manager he is. I know we're going back a long time. Just keep in mind, he was the replacement for Sir Alex Ferguson. It didn't work out, but they went to him. So think about that. That should tell you how well thought of he was back then. And I know he's been to so many different places, and I know what all the West Ham supporters think of him, but he won them a title, a European trophy, and they just don't like his style of play, Paul. But I'm telling you, with you going in to your new venue, new ownership, new everything, the right man, I think, to right the ship and push you in the right direction. And I expect big things from Everton this season. In fact, I was thinking about this not because I like you and Dan, it's because I love football and I look at trends. And I think you guys, if you recruit correctly, will be a top 10 side. I believe
that's the hope. I mean, Moyes seems to be doing what he used to do, in the fact that he seems to be recruiting. At the moment, it's either loan deals or people on a free. Hopefully, it's the fact that he's saving the money for areas where we really are found wanting, like a right winger, for example, or a striker, or things like that. So hopefully, he's being quite shrewd about it. And Tete is one of those types of players who can come in and do a job. I mean, when you sort of mention about Kyle Walker-Peters and Kyle Walker, for example, as soon as Kyle Walker was mentioned, I've got to say I was actually kind of excited, because I think Kyle Walker's really good. But I also acknowledge the fact that he used to be better, and so maybe we've got him on a downward. So if you were comparing what you know about Tete with what obviously you may know about Kyle Walker,
okay, I'll give you an example.
Are we making the right decision here?
You're making the right decision, and I'll give you an example of a player that you guys will, when I tell you his name, and I will tell you right now that I watched Adama Traore roast Kyle Walker. Okay. Has so much pace, roasted him, and I'm thinking, he's lost his legs. That was my thought. That was earlier in the season when Fulham played at the Etihad. I'm like, look what he's doing to Kyle Walker. That's not good. So I thought maybe there's something going on there. That was my first inkling. I don't know what he would do, what Kenny Tete would do against Adama Traore. But as I mentioned, as a one-on-one defender, he is solid beyond belief. He will not hurt you. He will help you defensively, and his crossing of the ball is top notch. He's not the quickest going forward. That was the example that I gave you, Paul, earlier. Is that's where Castagna I thought had a little bit of an edge on him, because going forward I thought Castagna was better, but the crossing was better with Tete.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing that Moyes does like, and we have lots of, is people who can play in lots of positions. So where else can Tete play? Goalkeeper, striker, manager, steward?
Possibly center back if you really needed him to fill in, possibly there. That's my first thought. Or you might be able to move him further up the pitch too, as a right winger. I don't think that's ideal, but I think if you needed to do something like that. But he is that type of player that I think you could mix and match if you needed to. I think he's versatile enough to do that, guys.
Cool. Dan, what are your feelings on it?
Well, obviously, it's cut me off, and I've had a nightmare. If you ever wanted to get a football player up for a game, just do what my computer's just done to me. Literally, my internet has just wound me up so much. If you put me on the pitch now, you wouldn't want to play against me, I tell you, because I've got a lot of angriness from my internet right now. I've had to connect it to my laptop to my phone, which is extraordinary, to use my phone internet. But I'm here. I don't give up. I'm the Italian stallion. I'm Rocky. I mean, I get back up, man. I'm here. Right. So I want to go. I presume you've already spoke about this, but I'm going to ask it you again, quick fire, just so I'm up to date.
Go ahead.
What amount did you pay him, Kenny Tete, a month or a week? Sorry. What amount was he on a week wages?
Yeah, I'm not sure of the amount. I should have checked that, guys, before I came on, but I think listen, I know they offered. I would assume they offered him more money to stay with Fulham, but I have a feeling that Everton have probably, I'm assuming, offered him more. So
yeah, I'm interested to see what the wages are, because, like you say, Fulham would have offered him a decent wage, and we would have had to have offered him more. A lot of Everton fans seem to get angry when you start talking about us paying players big wages. I mean, when we mentioned paying Grealish half his wages, 150k a week, Everton fans are fuming on paying Grealish half. So I'm interested. I personally can't see it being no less than 120
at the end of his last contract. Yeah, well, at the end of his last contract, which did you give him another 1 year deal then, Russ? Because it seemed as though his last contract ended sort of same time last year.
No, he probably had the 1 year option from Fulham, I'm assuming, if I remember correctly, because the one thing that Fulham have done in a lot of their contracts is they put in this 1 year option, club option. So I have a feeling that's what that was.
Yeah. Cool. Well, before the end of his last contract, he was getting 35 a week. So,
really?
I was going to guess about 40.
Yeah. I'd imagine it would have gone. It might have gone up for his last year for his option or something like that. But we're not talking major money.
No.
So, and that's okay. That's all right. And if we want him to do a decent job, and I think obviously the more he plays, the more he earns. So it seems as though he got his tail up when Castagna was trying to come back from internationals, and has obviously done a decent job. So because we're getting him on a free as well, then maybe his wages would be slightly higher. Doyley says that he was on 50 grand a week. That goes a lot further in Liverpool than it does London. So we're not talking about someone we're bringing in for 100 grand a week. Certainly not.
No. And I'm glad that you brought up the point of his contract season. I mean, he ran with it. He worked his tail off and played so well the first half of the season. Dan, you were trying to come in when I basically mentioned this, that Castagna was the player that me and my co-host Tony Gold wanted to be the starting right back last season. And Tete won the job away from him because Castagna had the job at the end of last season. He won it, and then Tete won it back. And I think, listen, he was very much, you could tell he was motivated. But the one thing that I think, if he does go to Everton, I obviously would want him back at Fulham. But if he does go to Everton, the fans are going to love him because he wears his emotion on his face, on his sleeve. You'll see it. And he'll work hard for the club. And he's one of those players that you're just going to love.
Yeah, that excites me. Like I say, I was curious on the wage. I mean, I can't believe you're a cheapskate, Russ. 50k. No wonder he's coming to Everton. You know what I mean?
I don't own Fulham Football Club, Dan. I know you
Yes,
think
you do.
I do.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
But no, it's what I don't think you would have offered. If you've only paying him 40k, I don't think you would have offered him much more. You might have offered him 50, 60k, and Everton might come in. So first of all, me asking you that question, it's a cracking deal for Everton because I don't think he'll be a big wage if you was only paying him 50k.
Right.
So first of all, I'd like to say that on that note, it'd be a cracking deal.
Yeah.
The second thing I want to ask you, which you probably already spoke about again, but we don't mind recapping. You can put it a bit more brief to me because you probably already talked about it. Everyone keeps saying to me he's injury prone, and that's what's making Everton fans 50-50, right?
Yep.
This is what's making it up in the air. For Everton fans like him because he's not 40 years old, but they are saying he is a little bit injury prone. So tell me what's happening with his injuries, Russ. What would you say we're going to get with his injuries?
So I told Paul that he did come back from the last injury, and I'm not saying he was the same player that he was at the beginning of the season, but he was able to finish off the season well because he was able to play. But I will tell you that a concern of Fulham supporters his entire time as a player has been his injury issues, and they have been substantial. I will tell you the year that we got promoted back to the Premier League, it would be Silva's first season. He got injured, and we brought in Nico Williams, who's now with Nottingham Forest. And Fulham supporters, the first year back, they desperately wanted Nico Williams back with the club, but he ended up going to Nottingham Forest. But partially, it has to do with not the play of Kenny Tete, but his injuries. It all comes down to injuries. It's, I would say this to you guys that, maybe after a match, you put him up in bubble wrap until the next match, because when he does play, Dan and I said this, Fulham definitely had a drop off last season after Christmas when Tete got injured. And that's not the only reason, but that's part of Fulham's story is that Castagna came back in and he, as we're learning, wasn't fully fit. He was injured and had to play it through because Tete was out long term. But Fulham really missed Kenny Tete January, February, and March. They really did.
No, I understand that because whenever we've played you, I thought Tete is good, and I've always found it hard for our wingers to get at your fullbacks because I thought Tete is a really good. I've always thought when we've played you, your fullbacks are fast, strong, and Tete for me is that outfit. He is fast, he is strong, and I do like what we're getting with him. One thing I will say to Everton fans is that we have got Jake O'Brien that is playing right back when he can't play centre back. So I did say this on TikTok last night. I said the good thing is there's not a lot of pressure on Tete to play when he's injured. So we can properly look after him, if you get what I mean, because Jake O'Brien can play that position. So it's massive that we do get him fixed. I wouldn't on a 3-year contract, you wouldn't want an injury-prone player, would you? Because we've got a reputation of that.
No, and that to me was, like I said, from a Fulham perspective, I'm disappointed to see him leave, as I said to Paul, but I also know what we were dealing with every match. You're thinking, is he going to be okay? Any time you would see him, it's like you forgot about it for a while. Then he would pick up a knock. And every time he picked up any kind of knock, we would be concerned because generally speaking, it would be not just a match. It would be several matches. And Fulham, I'm being honest, guys, we're better with him than without him. And that speaks volumes of what he did last season, but what he's done his entire career. It really just comes down to that injury bug that he unfortunately deals with.
Anyone in the comments, if you've got any questions, chuck on Russ about Kenny Tete.
Yeah.
Russ has been watching him a long time. Do put it in the comments and let us know. And we'll get as much information about this player as we can. Because a lot of people, they're not sure. And what's his crossing like?
I was telling Paul, top notch.
I knew that question would have been asked. I'm angry that I've been cut out for this long because I know Paul would have asked the right questions, and I knew that, but I still don't know.
Yeah, as I said to Paul, Dan, his crossing is one of his strengths. He's not as quick as Castagna. One of the reasons why me and my co-hosts were preferring Castagna really had to do with the fact that he was more quick in the attack than Tete was. But Tete was a much better crosser of the ball. So it was kind of like they were just different types of fullbacks, especially going forward. And Tete's the better defender. Better one-on-one defender.
I did see he scored against the Copites as well. Did you see that, Paul?
Yep.
I did notice, yeah.
Yeah, I had a look at a couple of videos. It's mad to already know who he is, but I still got on YouTube and I had a look at his highlights. And I did notice that it always wins me over if you score against the Copites. So that was pretty good that he did, and he was pretty happy. I did also see on a video Tete. He lost his boot. What happened with that? What was I watching here? His boot come off. He ran in the changing room. What happened here, Russ, on this?
Oh, I remember this, and I think Fulham got scored upon when that happened. Yeah, that actually did happen. Yep. Yeah, that wasn't good. That was definitely not good. But listen, if that's the worst thing I could say about him, then that's pretty good, Dan. I seen him run off the pitch and go and change his boots, and then Fulham concede a goal. And I was thinking, Paul, if he did that with Everton fans, you guys would have been crazy. You guys would have gone nuts.
It must have been related to Sidibe if that happens, I tell you.
Yeah. We had Sidibe not go on with a sock once, and we was fuming with that. So I think
yes, he can defend. There you go. Yes, he can defend. Very good one-on-one defender. Dan, I said at the beginning that a good example that was brought up on another podcast I was listening to last night, and I remembered the moment a couple seasons ago. He at the Amex, he basically took away Matoma. I mean, did an incredible job on Matoma, and that to me, a very dangerous player, just took him away. And that, again, speaks volumes.
It does seem like we've got a real good right back here, doesn't it, Paul? Russ he
just seems solid, to be fair.
Solid is the best way I can say it, guys.
Yeah,
solid.
Yeah. And you know what, though? That's all right. It doesn't we don't need to have Cafu, at right back. We don't need particularly marauding full-backs at the moment. A lot. I tell you what, a lot of it is going to depend on who we're going to have playing in front of that right back. I'd like us to see someone who is just very much attacking from that right hand side. I don't particularly just want a standard right midfielder who's very good at defending and all right at going forward. I want someone who's going to make us excited on that right hand side. I want what we've got on the right hand side similar or in the ilk of what we've got on the left-hand side. That's what we need, I think.
Well, Paul, to actually just tell you a little bit on the right-hand side with Fulham, partner that Tete had for the most part was Adama Traore, and then maybe Harry Wilson. At the very end, it was Ryan Sessegnon switching back and forth. So he always had someone strong with him and always seemed to complement each other, especially Traore and Tete really were a compliment.
Yeah,
I've seen in the comments. Alto says, "Does he defend well?" And don't forget that we've got Jake O'Brien. We're in this position, Russ, where we played Jake O'Brien right back, and he's fast.
But he's a centre back, right?
He's fast. He's strong, and as a right back, you can't get past him. He's really calm on the ball as well, and he can literally do everything needed in that right back position. So it's really hard to take him away from it.
Okay.
If he's not, but we have got Tarkowski injured. We don't know how he's going to recover. And I really do believe this, people. I love Tarkowski, and I do think Tarkowski will play, but I do think Jake O'Brien will push that centre-back position. at the side of Branthwaite.
And I mean,
and you need competition to push him out of that right back position as well. And I think Tete can do that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got it's only now like it's taken this long for someone to mention Patterson, really, because I think he's so far down the pecking order now. I don't know whether there's a way back for Nathan. I really don't. Whether it's Moyes doesn't fancy him, or he's just not performing it, or maybe he does want to move. I've no idea, but I just think if we're getting a right back, Patterson seems to be on the way out. Yeah, but he's also. I mean, he's been really unlucky with his injuries. They really set him back. But also, when he's had his opportunities, which have been few and far between, he's not excelled in them, or he's not played enough, or he gets brought on for half hour, but he's not involved in anything, or we're just defending and things like that. So, but it does seem Patterson seems to be getting lower and lower in the pecking order.
No, would you? The only thing that I can see that would frustrate us is if we signed him and he's always injured, and I think that's waste of a signing. That is what could frustrate us. When you get a player, you see everything going good and you don't see it going bad because that's all you want to see.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, if he's coming, he's sitting on the bench and you're paying him decent wages and you've got him on a 3-year contract. It's a bit of a fail from Everton Football Club, and you say we're making the same mistakes. That's just me saying the bad, because you can't just be blind to the bad. You've got to think of both directions. So the fact he's coming with such a bad injury record, and we know what bad injury players like. Look at Calvert-Lewin. You didn't play that much.
I don't. You know what though? I think that injury thing is a little bit. I mean, it might come back and kick me in the arse. You know what I mean? But touch wood, that injury sort of persona of Tete, going off what we've had a look at, is a bit of a fallacy. He's come back from 4 months out. I get that, but before that, it was a year when he was out for a week, and then 5 months before that, he was out for 6 weeks. Do you know what I mean? So for a Premier League footballer, over what would be 2 to 3 years, it's not the worst injury sort of list in the world that he's had. And also that other one where he did come back, he then ended up finishing the season fairly strongly.
Yeah,
So I wouldn't throw everything in that he gets injured all the time basket, because I think some of our players have been injured as much as he has, and they're still part of our team. So,
and I get what you're saying, and we're not scared of that. We're not fearing those players. So why should we fear him? So
yeah.
I do get where you're coming from. Are you looking to replace this right back? Do you feel like you missed out not getting him, and you're a bit gutted that you've not kept him, Russ? Because I know you've only got probably one.
I am a little disappointed. I'm not going to lie. I kind of resigned myself that they were going to lose him because it kept going longer and longer, and I don't think that Marco Silva is happy that Kenny Tete is probably leaving. I think that's could be a little bit of an issue that Fulham are going to have to deal with, because I think that he wanted to really keep him. That's just my opinion, because he was a player that really flourished under Silva. So I don't think he's probably happy that Kenny Tete could potentially be going to Everton. But for me, they've been linked to several fullbacks. Kyle Walker-Peters is a name we hear a lot. I actually was told some interesting information that apparently, again, reportedly from a source I have, that Fulham met with a representative for Bellanova, who plays for Atalanta, on Thursday, and that is something that could be in the mix. I'm not sure how far on that is, but then we've seen other links as well. The one that actually really drives Fulham supporters crazy is that they don't want them to sign Kufal from that is leaving West Ham. If they do that, they will be irate. They will be irate.
He was linked to us, Rossi.
It's funny you say that, Ross.
If he comes to Fulham, I'm telling you, there's going to be hell to pay with the Fulham supporters at Craven Cottage because they let Tete go, and this is your replacement. That would not go over well.
Yeah, we had the same, didn't we, Dan? We had the same. I suppose really because of the Moyes thing, and Kufal's on a free.
Yeah,
Souček was the other one, which I wasn't totally against.
Souček is a solid player.
He's a solid kind of player. I don't know whether we particularly need him in that. We need to sort of recruit in that area. But Kufal would, I think, the same as you would have maybe ticked off a few Evertonians. Really, I know. But same old names and roundabouts, isn't it? So, it might not go well, but I did like the fact that you were sort of saying he showed heart on his sleeve and all that sort of stuff. So
yes,
if he does show that when he, and if we get him, then straight away people will start liking him. I would have thought.
The Everton supporters will take to him because that's what he's going to do. You're going to see it. He wears it right on his emotion. He'll be out there. You'll see it, and he'll get emotional. And I remember that goal against Liverpool. He was very emotional with that goal. And so I should say that that other club in Liverpool. We'll just call it the other club in Liverpool because there's only one club in Liverpool. It's Everton. Anyways,
exactly. Barely a club. Anyway, he rides a bike to games. Well, it'd be good for him to do that at our place as well.
No, that's actually Castagna.
Oh, is that Castagna? Ah, There you go then. There you go. I mean, there's loads of other things sort of going on Everton-wise. So if anyone's got a question that they want to throw in the comments and things like that, and things that they've heard or read and anything from the last week, whether it be Fulham related or otherwise, then do so. But you happy? I mean, it's early doors and everything else. Where would you be strengthening, Ross? What are you going to be looking for a striker again? Is Jimenez going to be your main guy?
No, the way things are going with Fulham, I can tell you the positions where I believe that they're going to be looking at, and striker is going to be one of them. They've never replaced Mitrovic. Raul Jimenez was never brought in to replace Mitrovic. It was just an additional striker. Rodrigo Muniz is continuing to develop. The two of them complement each other very well, and it's worked out. But they don't have that one striker that you can count on for like a Mitrovic. They're still looking for that player.
What did you think on Leeds coming in big on your striker? Because Leeds come in for your striker, didn't they?
Do you really want my comments on that?
What did they offer? No, I'm just saying they offered 35 million, and you just said you're not sure about your striker.
I've actually been tweeting. I've been tweeting to Leeds supporters to basically say, no chance. There's no chance. There's no chance they have invested in Rodrigo Muniz. There's no chance that they're going to let him go to, I think, anyone. Now, I've seen Tottenham might be interested in him. Reportedly, they're looking for 50 million for Rodrigo Muniz. The issue that Fulham have right now that I think is possibly why we're seeing so much speculation with him. Reportedly, I've seen different reports that Rodrigo Muniz is making as small as 7,500 pounds a week. Okay. So if that is true, I don't, and then I've seen someone say 10,000, even if it's 10,000, he needs a pay rise big time. And,
this is like your problem, it seems, doesn't it? That it could bite you in the arse that you've got a lot of players on low wages and not sorting that problem out. We've just had to do that with Branthwaite, and
yes,
it really
it's a major problem.
It could be the same with Tete. If you would have given Tete a bigger wage before he might have stayed and not even let his contract run down. So it could be a problem within Fulham trying to skank the players on wages. And I don't mean to put that harsh, but
no. Listen, I'm not going to disagree with you on the situation. That's why I brought up Muniz. Why I don't think that they're going to let him go. One, he has one final year on his contract. And of course, they've done these contracts where they have the option for another year. So really, it's two. So they're going to look for big money, and they've already thrown out the figure, at least reportedly, of $50 million. I can't imagine anyone's going to pay for a player that really is still developing, but we shall see. I don't think there's any chance that he goes to Leeds United. I don't see that,
is he not Mitrovic? Is he not Mitrovic?
Not yet. Not yet. It's just not. He still has his game to work on. And what's great about being at Fulham, he has really started at ground zero and really worked his way up with his talent. He's really developed it, and Fulham have done a great job of developing him. So that's also why I don't see that they're going to develop this player who still needs more developing than go play for someone else. That doesn't make sense to me. So if they did that, I'd be very upset. But I'm also disappointed, guys. Like you mentioned, that he's on so low of a wage. I was talking about this during the season, that they need to give him more money. What are they doing? And now they're in this situation. But as you just mentioned, he's not the only one. Listen, there's a reason why Tom Kearney is getting interest from Wrexham, because we're learning that he was, I think, only on £35,000 a week. Now, he doesn't play that much anymore, but this is a player that will go down as a Fulham legend. And you've got Wrexham reportedly offering $50,000 a week. So he actually has to really think about that.
Must be really frustrating
Yeah.
as a fan.
And I mean, he's been with you forever. Like he came up with you as well, didn't he? He came up with you as well.
He did 10 seasons now, Paul. So
yeah,
and
scored the winner in the playoff, I think, when he came up as well.
He did.
I think so, anyway.
He did. And it's frustrating for us because I'm watching a player, I mean, there have been times where I'm saying it's time to move on from Tom Kearney. But I think you also need a player that has that type of experience and that type of connection to the club. And I think I've gone back and forth because I do think Fulham need to get younger, but I would keep him. If I'm Fulham, and I'll give you a player that if I'm Everton, that would just be a squad player, I would go after Harrison Reed. That's a player that you were interested in a few seasons ago. Because Harrison Reed right now, Fulham need to move on from Harrison Reed. And if Everton wanted to just bring him on for short money, I think that would be a good move for Everton. Because they were interested in him at one point, a couple seasons ago.
Yeah, I remember that. We was interested in him. And back then, it's crazy because I feel like we're a bit stronger now that we can be a bit even more fussy. I feel I would have been more excited about getting him back then because I thought that we was crap. But now we're looking a bit stronger.
No, you're in a different stratosphere, Dan. Both of you guys, I'm telling you right now, from just a Premier League team that's not yours, looking at it as a whole, I said this to Paul before you came back on, Dan, that I expect Everton to be in the top 10 this season. I really do. I truly believe that. I think now Moyes' real full first season really will be this season. He'll be able to implement his system with the players he wants. And I think Everton are going to surprise a lot of people. And I think other teams are going to slip. I've already said, I think Nottingham Forest could go in the other direction and Everton go up the table and they go down the table, but we shall see.
Yeah. I mean, what you got to do every season, you've got to improve. So we finished 13th, clear at 13th. So above that has to be.
Yeah, we were 11th.
Yeah. Has to be the aim. So we might well end up being around the same sort of position again, but we want to be higher than we were last time. But it's nice. It's nice to be linked. It's nice to be linked with people that we didn't think we would sort of ever have a chance in the last couple of seasons, have a chance of getting. So it sort of all leads into it, really. And there's lots of people who in the comments as well, there's rumours going around, which we kind of, we don't throw a lot of weight behind until it's properly mentioned by whoever. But, Zinchenko has been mentioned this week. I think he's a decent player. Mitrovic, I don't think.
I saw that.
Would be something,
Listen, the one thing that I will say about Mitro, and if you get a healthy Mitro, you're in good shape. Mitro's dealing with something when he was in Saudi Arabia, but I'd be the first to say get Mitrovic as long as he's healthy. Get Mitrovic because you can count on 15 to 20 goals a season, even now. Get Mitchell.
Well, that's more than our main strikers have got at the moment. So, yeah.
Well, listen, I have a co-host that wants us to get Calvert-Lewin from you. So tell me.
There'd be a lot of people who would be happy with that, Ruff. There'd be a lot of people who would be happy with
that
it.
concerns me. That concerns me because he's like, let's go get Calvert-Lewin. I'm like, but I know the Everton guys don't kind of want him to go. So,
but I also do think though, and I think, I don't know. Let us know whether you sort of agree with this, people watching. But I think when he does go somewhere else, I think it's one of those, he could have a bit of a rebirth, a fresh start, all that sort of stuff. He could go on a decent run, hit the ground running, and
I don't think he will.
Surroundings. I'd like him to do as well.
Yeah.
I haven't got any ill feeling against him whatsoever. He has tried hard. It's not worked out for him in the last however many seasons, depending on your point of view. But I do think that he's very capable of being a decent striker for someone. I'd much rather him go to someone like Fulham instead of Leeds, who seem to be linked with everybody. I don't know what's going on with Leeds. Whether they won that 200 million lottery the other week or whatever. But everyone seems to be going to Leeds soon.
I honestly think Calvert-Lewin, when he leaves, is going to be injured again. I really do believe that. I think he's an injury playing player. And when he leaves, he's going to be injured again, right?
Okay.
But I do believe if he goes to Fulham, the way Russ gets with Everton players, the way he gets with Iwobi, Calvert-Lewin will probably turn into prime frigging Del Piero or something like that if he goes to Fulham. Fulham have got this magic potion on ex-Everton players that will probly turn him.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know, but I will listen, Dan. If this makes you feel any better, I'm going to share a little Iwobi with you, okay? But please just hear me out. So Iwobi was going to be Fulham's player of the season for the first half of the season. He faded the entire second half of the season. So in the end, I think you win.
Yeah, well, I did tell you this. He had a bit of an. And I'm not even just saying this. I knew what would happen. I did, Russ. I did. I was just enjoying you getting excited about him that first half. I knew what would happen with Iwobi.
Paul, he has to take his lap. He's got to take his lap.
We need at least one Iwobi comment each time you come on.
Exactly.
Well, you just made me sleep good tonight after telling me that, after how excited you was about Iwobi. Because you was comparing Iwobi to Messi, and now you're actually moaning about
I was not doing that. Don't put words in my mouth. I was never doing that.
No, he wasn't. No, but I know Iwobi's got ability. I know that, but he's just the problem when we had Iwobi, for me, he was 1 in 3. He was 1 in 4 sometimes.
Yeah,
and I know he's got ability, and like you just said, the way he was, if he finished the season the way he had that first half, Fulham really would have been more successful. So it would have been frustrating. He would have frustrated. I can see why you're frustrated. I mean, I just wanted to say on Everton, and I was just going to say this, I had it all in my head before I come on. And this is on Tete. This is really good business. And Russ has just touched on it, that he thinks Everton's going to do well. And I want to point this out. This is really good business by Everton because
absolutely
at the end of the day, right, we needed a right back. And we've got Tete, who is really good. And we've managed to get him in on a free contract. So we're not paying 5-10 million to get him. All we're doing is paying his wages for 3 years, which is probably not even 5-10 million. So we've paid nothing to get him, and we're just paying his wages. That's fantastic business. Right back position sorted, free contract, not had to buy anyone, and I reckon he'll be on a decent wage. It looks that we're going to do the same with the left back position. So Everton will probably get someone on a free contract left back as well. It looks. And so Everton will probably be in the situation now where we've got a really solid right back backup, or if not first team player, a really solid left back backup, if not first team player. And we haven't spent anything of the money that we're going to be able to spend this season. And I said on a few things, if you asked Everton fans, where do you want to spend the money? It would be on attacking players, Russ. And that's because they're expensive and that's where you want to spend your money. So I think to sort out left back, to sort out right back and not even spend any money yet, I was speaking to Elton Wellesby, who's a cracking guy. He was saying Everton, with the freaking goop, will get a marquee signing. He believes Jack Grealish could be that player. It might be half his wages on loan or something like that. But he believes our number 10 will be our marquee signing. But like I say, left back, right back sorted now. Sort the left back position. We've still got 4 loans. So we could get 2 loans in the Premier League, 2 loans abroad. That's 4 more players. And then we could sign 4 more players. That's 10 players at Everton. We could be a real strong team this season. And I couldn't believe, Russ, the players that you brought in last season. When Fulham, the business that you did last season, all the players that you brought in, I said to you when we played you, didn't I? You've done some cracking business. And I think we'll be similar this season, if you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah, no, listen, I expect that, Dan. What's frustrating for us, and obviously for any supporter of any club, is that nothing's been done yet, right? We want it yesterday. Fulham are notorious for doing their business very late because the director of football likes to try to get the best deal he can get. Now, I understand that, but I also want most of the business done before the first match of the season. We were just talking about we wish that the Premier League closed the window before the first game of the season because it really does affect everyone's team. It hurts everyone's team. And I agree with him. I wish they would. I wish, again, Europe would do that, but they don't. It is what it is. But for me, I'm still hopeful that they're going to bring in the players that they need. They have every season under Silva, and I know that we're going to be stronger than we were last season, and I'm hopeful. But, if you're asking me going back to why you guys have me on, I'm happy to tell you positive things about Kenny Tete. And if he does go to Everton, I wish him well, and I know you guys will take good care of him.
Yeah, well, I don't mind Fulham, so I hope you get back up. I hope you get back up for him. I don't mind Fulham. I do think that we've got a better right back than the Copites, to be fair. If they got that Flimpong or whatever his name is, right back, we've got the better. The better Belgium. Never heard of him. We've got Tete, the mighty Fulham star. I'm telling you, I'm happy with this player. We are coming to an end now. We're not going to go over an hour, people. Russ has given us everything we need to know about Tete. It sounds good. I hope you've all enjoyed it. Sorry about me cutting out at the start. Paul's the man anyway. Don't worry about that. I'm going to ask you now. I'm presuming we've signed Tete, so I'm going to pretend we've signed Tete. I'm going to say the deal's done. Okay. I'm going to listen to Fabrizio and take his word for it here. 2 signings. I'll ask you, Russ. I'll ask you, Paul. And then I'll say 2 signings. Who do you want? And I know we're going to make more than 2 signs, but who's the top of your list of 2 that you want?
Oh, wow. Am I going first, Paul, or is Paul going first? Paul,
you go first.
Oh, fine. You have me go first. Okay. So for me, it starts at striker, okay? So I want Fulham to sign and pay whatever they need to pay for U.S. men's national team striker Ricardo Pepi, who is currently playing for PSV Eindhoven. They would have to pay a lot of money. He's a 22-year-old striker. You know how we're talking about we need the next Mitrovic? Do you watch this guy play? He's not Mitrovic, but he is someone that I think is going to be a Premier League striker sooner than later. So for me, I want them to sign Ricardo Pepi, but it doesn't sound like his team wants to sell, but we shall see. The other player that I want to see, guys, you guys are going to laugh. You ready for this? I want them to bring back João Paulinho. So there is speculation that Paulinho could be moved. Then I saw speculation today that he wants to stay at Bayern Munich. I would move heaven and earth to get Paulinho back to Fulham. They ended up missing him, guys. I didn't realize how much. Think about this. It took 2 players to do the position of 1 last season. Berge and Lukic, it took 2 of them to be Paulinho. And it hurt Fulham going forward because it took 2 of them to do the job. So for me, I would want them to bring back Paulinho.
That's a great shout.
Sometimes it does happen with players. You don't realize the value until they're gone. You really don't. We've had that with some of our players. They're playing, you just take everything they do for granted, and then when they go, you think, "Wow, I miss actually what he does." And it hasn't worked out for him where he's gone. So Paulinho,
no, it hasn't.
It has not. If you're listening to Russ, he wants you back. He don't mind you getting yellow cards. He'll have you back.
No,
you would actually probably be
10,
good
11,
because he hasn't played with the new players that you've got. Yeah, don't mind the yellow cards. Russ likes yellow
10,
cards. He's a nutter.
10 to
He's a
12.
nutter.
Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
He's crazy man, Russ is. But no, he hasn't played with the players you've got. You've got some good new centre midfielders that will probably be good with Paulinho. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
not to bore you guys, but I will tell you a player that I think is going to make an impact, not just with Fulham, but someday with England, is Josh King. Watch out for Josh King. He just played for the the under-19s for England, and he is a central midfielder, and he is dynamic, and that's a player to watch out for.
Well, the last
in
Josh
the comments,
King that we,
let us
the
know
last
your
Josh
two
King
players.
that we had, the last Josh King that we had up front. We hardly played him, or the manager at the time hardly played him. Went to Watford, came back, scored a hat-trick against us. So anyone called Josh King, we have to be wary of, Russ.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry about that.
Yeah. That was what I thought in my head. I thought he was on about the one that we got, Russ. Because if you remember, you will know. Basically, we paid 10 million just to have a striker for one season. This is how bad we used to be run back in the day. We paid 10 million to have Joshua King. We didn't play him all season. So we paid 10 million to have him, just 10 million to have him for one season. We didn't play him all season. He left. He played against us. He scored a hat-trick. That's what we're not that team anymore. Hopefully, that was disgusting. It made me feel sick. Russ just gave me flashbacks to that. In the comments, let us know two players. Who's two players at the top of your list? Russ has just gave his. He wants the striker. What was his name again?
Pepe,
and Paulinho.
Yep.
You're not asking for much big money there, Russ, but we're dreaming. We can have whoever we want, people. Paul, who do you want? And then I'll say who I want. What two players at the top of your list?
Two's tricky. I've got a few, and a couple of them are ones that have been mentioned tonight as well. In the fact that Luka Jovic is on a free. He's not old at all. I mean, he was at Real Madrid for a start off, so that would be one I would be quite happy about. I know Douglas Luiz is available, so that would be a strong midfielder. I'm not saying that's a particular area that we need someone in, but he's a bit of a machine, so I'd be quite happy if he came along. I'd go for Barry, but I do think that there are others that are out there. I think we've found ourselves on the Barry train when we've seen a few highlights and stuff, but I do think he's got more potential than Beto had. So that would he's certainly got legs. So I'd give him a shout. I'm still searching for that right winger. To be honest, I'm not sure who it should be, but it's got to be someone with a better pace. I can't watch. In all fairness, Jack seems like a sound lad, but I can't watch another sort of Harrison figure on the right-hand side, just looking as though he's going to try and take someone on, but actually realising he's not quick enough to do so. So he then come back. And I know Jim's saying Traore. No, but I've got Traore. And I don't know whether he's being serious or not there. The thing is...
He's trying to offload him.
Okay,
I've got the problem with Traore, the same reason that Iwobi was a problem for me, and the fact that he doesn't have an end product. There's just not enough of an end product there, and he's fast. He gets to the line, but crossing's not great. Can't really hit the target. I just think he runs into cul-de-sacs, and I just think we need someone with a little bit more. I'd like to do what we did. Sort of mid 2010s, go and search out Barcelona, Real Madrid for some loanees, get some decent ones who are on the fringes, bring them over for a season, get them invested in the club and then sign them on proper. It's what we did with Mina. It's what we did with Digne. Yep. It's certainly an avenue worth looking for, I think. So I think the names that we could really go for haven't come out yet. And that's fine, because I do like the way that we've been doing business, in the fact that we're not just going for the names that have that have just popped up in the nose and all that sort of stuff. I do like the fact that we're playing our cards close to our chest, and when anything does come out, it seems to have already been negotiated, or we've got a little bit of legs in it.
Yeah, well, I also do like that our business, because a lot of our business rush before was loads of speculation before we get the player and stuff.
Tim
like
Weah
that.
would be
Now
good,
we're
by
just-
the way. Tim Weah
Yeah.
would be
What's
good.
that?
Timothy
Weah.
Weah would be
he's
good
been
for you.
linked. Yeah, he
I'm
has been
serious.
linked. I like
I've seen him
as
play
well.
a lot. Timothy Weah would be good.
Is
Yeah,
he
has been
related?
linked.
He's not related, is he? George
To-
Weah?
Oh, I don't know.
George Weah. Oh, that'd be amazing.
My two players would be. I really want Jack Grealish. I'd like to sign him because I think if we have him on loan, he'll be fantastic and smash it, and then we probably won't sign him and I'll cry. So I would like to actually sign him, but I think it might be a loan, half his wages. Jack Grealish deal will be really hard, but with how skillful Illiman and Jai is, if we was to get someone like Jack Grealish as well, the spark on them two, oh my days, I would be like Happy Gilmore watching that. I just want to see Jack Grealish, Illiman and Jai, Alcaraz and McNeil. That's just, it gets me excited, honestly. I'd love it. So I would like Jack Grealish. I would, because I'm telling you straight, right? Jack Grealish has still got loads of good football in him, and whoever he goes to next is going to smash it, because Man City was tying him down a little bit. I'm on a Manchester City podcast tomorrow, and we'll have the Jack Grealish conversation. But
there you go.
From what I've heard, Jack Grealish he wants to. Everton would be the perfect location because he wants to stay in the area he's in. So I think Everton would be the perfect location. And he is willing to make the move to Everton. It just depends what Man City are going to do on the wages. He is the top. Jack Grealish is my marquee signing. Striker, okay. I really want Voltemada, but I just don't think it will happen because he's smashing it at the minute. He's banging goals in for the German under-21s. And since we've been linked to Voltemada, he's smashing it. This Barry guy, he's good, but he's raw. And they can end up incredible, but they're risky, ain't they? You just don't know with these young players. They can turn into a diamond, but they can also turn into a flop. Look at Patterson. No offense to you, mate, but you just haven't rose to it for me. So, yeah, I would like... But you just said I would take him from Juventus as well. I don't think we know what striker we're going to get yet. I'd love a striker that we don't even know that's an absolute giant that's going to be incredible. I'd like to think that Grealish I want, but I'd like to think that the striker... They pull in someone we don't even know and he's going to be amazing. Like Rush has looked all over for his. I mean, you've done your research on your striker, but it's hard to get a good striker now, isn't it, Rush?
No, it is. And for us, it's something that they've been searching for since Mitrovic left, and they have not been able to find it. And it's hard. It's probably the hardest position to fill. And Fulham are fortunate that Jimenez has worked out and that Muniz has developed, but there's still this gap. There's still not that guy. Are you fearful? If you're a defender, are you fearful of playing against Muniz and Jimenez? I don't think so. Maybe you are a little bit. I don't think so. Are you fearful of playing against Mitrovic? The answer is hell yes. So I think that's what you're missing, what we're missing. A player that you feel that you have to really worry about.
I've already got that player. I've got him, Beto. Just Paul doesn't love him as much as me. I've already got him. I've got Beto. The ball is absolutely.
Come on, Dan. Don't go there. Come on.
You wasn't sure against Beto, but then when he played against Fulham, he absolutely boshed your centre back. Beto's a beast.
No, he did, but he didn't do it against any other team but my team. So
Beto's. I'm telling you, he'll score 20 goals this season, but we do need a backup for him. I don't mind Beto. I really don't. I'm interested to see what he's going to do, but we do need probably someone that's going to real push for him.
Okay.
Loads of people have got involved in the comments. I'm just going to drop this one before we start to finish the show. What do you think of? Wasn't that comment? It was the same person. He said about Fred Paul, who I know from X. Oh, Fred. He's linked to Everton. Fred, the Brazilian.
Pass, guys. Pass. Big time pass. Big time. Don't even go there, because Fred was past it when he was at Manchester United. Pass. That's a pass. I'm serious. I wouldn't do that.
Some would say Garner Gay was past it, but he's been our best player this last season.
Well,
yeah, no, not for me.
Say,
Not for me.
See, he is past.
I honestly, I really do think Moyes is going to bring him in. I really do.
He might.
But if it was on a free, I'd say fair enough. But the fact they're talking 15 million or 18 million,
yeah, I'm not paying that for that guy. I'm sorry, not at his age. I just wouldn't do it. Fulham were looking at him a couple seasons ago, and I'm glad that he didn't end up coming to us. I just don't think it was worth the money.
I might have to go to Finch Farm, the training ground, and kick off because I want Habib Diarra. I want Habib Diarra at Everton. I love him. He smashed England up. Habib Diarra is a cracking centre midfielder. And if Leeds get him instead of us, I'll cry. Habib Diarra he's a good centre midfielder, and he plays for Senegal with Garner Gay. He's a cracking centre midfielder. And he's young as well. Get Habib Diarra. Don't get no finished Fred. Go do the business properly. You know what I mean? Do the business properly.
Can I say this right now? Because I don't think anyone here is a Leeds United supporter, but any player that goes there needs their head examined because I think that team is just I think that, we were the yo-yo club. They're going to be a yo-yo club. I wouldn't go there. I would not go there. I understand the history of Leeds United, but if I had to choose between Fulham, Everton, and Leeds is number 3. Leeds is, I don't even think about it.
Do you know a football club that loves me at the minute when I go live on TikTok? Sunderland.
That's an interesting one. I'm actually looking forward to seeing Fulham play at the Stadium of Light again this season. We were talking about Sunderland coming back because I actually felt bad for their supporters. They had a rough ride, and I did watch Sunderland till I die, so maybe I'm a little influenced by that. But I'm actually glad that they're back.
I'd tell you about the Sunderland thing that stuck out for me this week is little Bradley, the little Sunderland fan who unfortunately passed away due to cancer.
Oh, that's terrible.
We actually played Sunderland, I think, at the Stadium of Light on what would have been his 15th birthday this season. This season coming, so that's a nice one. That'll be an emotional one as well because we did lots of things for Bradley when they played us the season before he passed away. So yeah, we've got a little affinity with Sunderland in us as well.
That's great.
So that's nice.
Brad, I can't wait to see the display we put on for Bradley and Dor. So you've got Jordan Pickford, obviously. That's the Sunderland link because Jordan Pickford, he is a Macum. There's been loads of people on. It says 700 people have probably clicked on. Don't know if you stayed on, but you've clicked on. We do appreciate you coming on. We are going to do more shows, people. Now we've just been waiting. We've been on the sunbeds waiting for this transfer window to liven up, and it has. We've signed Alcaraz now, and it looks like Tete is going to be done. Everton have been waiting till the 1st for me. There's a new PSR after the 1st, and I think that's when a lot of teams will do their business. Yeah. So I think everybody is going to step it up after the 1st, and we'll be going live a lot more. Rush, we've had on the show. I was really out. I don't know whether I was more happy about that we'd signed Tete or more happy about that was going to get Russ on the show. Because
thank you, Dan.
Yeah, well, I was happy to have a catch up with you, and we always love having you on. Russ, give yourself a plug. They'll know where to find you because you're one of our regulars.
Well, thank you very much, and I'm glad that Fulham won opposition team in your awards, and I might have something to do with that. So. Yes,
thank you it was a bit, yeah.
That was very nice. I was like, really? I had something to do with that?
Well done.
Okay, but thank you guys. Anyways, so you can definitely follow me on X at Russ_Goldman, or you can follow the podcast at Just Cottage Talk. Also, we'll have a YouTube channel, Just Cottage Talk. Certainly would love more subscribers. I'm still stuck around 800, so if someone wants to subscribe, please do. And I've got some big news coming for this upcoming season. I am partnering with someone. I can't really say what it is, but I have big plans for Cottage Talk for the upcoming season. And I look forward to getting you guys on Cottage Talk. I'll be happy to come back here when we play each other.
That'd be awesome.
I can't wait for it, actually. I can't wait for this season and see what teams see what teams we have. I have put Russ's links in the description. If you're thinking how'd you spell it? How'd you say
Thanks,
it?
Mark.
His links are in the description. So do get on the links and do subscribe. You don't have to watch it all the time. You just click on and off. That's what I say on this. It's free. Just subscribe. Just get it done.
Exactly. Get your notifications on. Yeah, get your notifications on as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. The way it works with YouTube, you need to get
the show. Danny missed the show.
Yeah,
get your notifications on, Dan.
Get your notifications on, people, and get it. What I wanted to say about us is I've just decided to do a Toffee Bluecast Facebook. We have 4 people on Toffee Bluecast Facebook, people. So if you could go over there and get on Facebook, it goes live on Facebook as well now. So we're trying to build the Toffee Bluecast on all different platforms now. So we're on X, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. We'll be on Instagram soon. We're hoping to have a really, really good season this season and get more Evertonians on the show and stuff like that. But yeah, we are looking forward to this season. Me and Paul are getting ready. We're going to smash it. We set the bar high last season. We had some cracking people on. Russ helped us get Begovic on. So now I want Sylvester Stallone, Karate Kid. I want Cristiano Ronaldo, Messi.
Okay, I don't know any of these people, so I can't help you there.
Yeah, I want everyone on. I want everyone on next time. Dan, I'm really missing you with the unicorn.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Life's so boring now. I've started to be sensible. A few people moan when I'm crazy. And
since he became a father again.
Yeah, so boring. Well, it's not even since I become a father again. I'm still an idiot at home, but I just don't put the videos up anymore because people's heads fall off. They just like grow up, and I'm like, no, I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up. I'm getting 46 now. I don't want to grow up.
On that, plug your family bubble.
Yeah, family bubble is funny. There's some funny stuff on that. I have a YouTube channel called Family Bubble, and it's not really getting many subs, which is frustrating because there's some cracking stuff that I've been putting on, some funny stuff. But if you do want to go over to Family Bubble, do so. If you don't, fair enough. But we are trying to grow that. But it's just basically Family Bubble is just a vlog of my family, and it's something we'll look back on hopefully when we're older.
Yeah, there you go.
It'll be quite funny. Yeah. So
Dan's kids are gorgeous as well. Absolutely gorgeous family. And Dan's acting a prat all the time, so there's a.
I thought he was going to say Dan's gorgeous. Then I was going to say, yeah. Well, I've done my hair.
You know that already. You know that already, don't you?
But I know we are at the end now, but I'm telling you right now, people, I'm going to go nuts this season. We're 500-1 to win the Premier League, and I'm down for that, mate.
Okay.
I'm going to go nuts. We're having a good season. See that? We're having it. I'm ready. I'm ready this season. And I can't wait to take Russ on as well because me and Russ get competitive. I can't wait.
We do.
Be on the
we do. It won't be to score the next time we play. I'll just start there.
It won't be to score an own goal, Russ has just said.
No.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
It won't be to score an own goal and Pickford score penalty against them. That's what I do to people. You know what I mean? But thanks everyone for coming on. We will be back. We will keep going live now with loads of different stuff. We'll try and get some guests on. We'll get some footballers on. Toffee Bluecast. And Fulham from Russ from Cottage Talk, Fulham fan tonight. I'm going to drop the banner. I'm going to make sure I sort my Wi-Fi out. I tell you, people, still angry. See if we can get the music on.
Go on.
Dropping the video at the top.